Coming up on this edition of the Ohio State Football Report, some transfer portal news, 2 more players hopping into the portal for the Buckeyes, an offensive line target emerging for OSU, and a report that Mike Vrabel actually might be interested in the job to replace Ryan Day if that ends up being the case. But there is, of course, a college football playoff run brewing for the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll be live for that game, by the way. Like the video if you are excited. Free, simple, easy to do so. Please and thank you, like today's show. Let's start off with Devin Brown. He has announced he will enter the transfer portal, leaving Ohio State after a couple of seasons. However, he will stay for the remainder of the college football playoff and then look to find his next destination. Look, this doesn't really come as a surprise. It certainly seemed like Julian Sayin, or maybe Aaron Noland, was going to be the future for Ohio State. Brown couldn't beat out Will Howard. I didn't think he was a real great starting option anyway. But I will say this. I am glad that Brown is going to stick around. A lot of these players are put in a bad spot. With the bad timing of the transfer portal, it opens when these guys are trying to prep for a college football playoff run. And yeah, they get 5 days after their season officially ends, but by then some of the spots are already filled. So they're not set up for success with the way the portal is currently constructed. So the timing sucks. But this is how you handle it. Everyone knows you're going to leave. You got to look out for yourself, find your next destination. But you can't quit on your team either. You can't bail on your teammates who you've spent the entire year working so hard with to make it to where you are currently at. So I think Brown is handling this the proper way. Again, I didn't think he was going to be a real starting option for Ohio State. I'd much rather play Sayin or Aaron Noland next year. Or if you want to go pursue the portal, sure, whatever. But I didn't really view Brown as, he's going to be your guy in 2025. I think that's Sayin. I think that's somebody else. We'll see if Lincoln ends up sticking around. I wouldn't be shocked if he opted in the portal. Maybe he takes over the veteran backup role, whatever. There is value, by the way, with as heavy as the transfer is, especially at quarterback, to having a veteran piece to serve as the proven, quote-unquote, option behind a youngster like a Sayin, etc. But I do want to show Devin Brown some love before we move on to some more transfer portal updates here. So type 33 in the comments section and show Brown some love. Do it at the pin comment, especially the ad comes here on YouTube. Also hopping in the portal is backup offensive tackle Miles Walker. This one, not a surprise either. He hasn't played in his 2 years for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He's now going to hop in and leave. Class 2023, he was only a 3-star. In fact, he was one of the lowest rated recruits in that class, which speaks to how good Ohio State's classes are, that you got a basically top 500 guy. It's like, yeah, that guy was near the bottom. Shoot, go to the back and be the best recruit they've had in 5 years. Like, that's kind of what you're staring down at that point, which maybe is the path he ends up pursuing. Out of Connecticut, number 4 ranked player in the state. Hadn't gotten on the field. Certainly not much of a surprise to see him exploring the transfer portal. He wasn't even really a key backup for this team either. So I think it is expected, so to speak, that Ohio State going to lose Miles Walker. That, by the way, ends up being the 5th player who has hit the portal for the Buckeyes. We mentioned the 2 receivers, Kojo Antwi, Jaden Ballard, Gabe Powers left. Now Devin Brown and Walker all hopping into the transfer portal. So best of luck to those guys. Hope they find success. Nothing, I think, overly shocking with any of those guys choosing to leave at this point, which is how it goes. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event. Got a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets, see if favorite teams play live, even easier. Filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats. So don't waste time searching through so many different tickets. That does include the CFP playoff final round. Tennessee, Ohio State, as mostly expected. You can go to that game. You can find some good deals on that one. They will be expensive tickets because it's never happened before. It's Tennessee, Ohio State. Should actually be a really good game. You can get your tickets for that or a Browns game, a Bengals game, a Ohio State basketball game. They've got you covered with sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and everything else in between. Toggle that all-in pricing feature to see your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Let's talk more transfer stuff. This time, someone potentially coming into the program. Northwestern transfer offensive guard Josh Thompson already has 3 different visits lined up, including Ohio State. This per 24/7 Sports. Bucknuts, the reporting here. He will visit Michigan State on Tuesday, then head down to Auburn on Wednesday, then come back up for an Ohio State visit on Friday. This is certainly a very intriguing target for the Buckeyes. We'll get more in depth on him in a little bit, plus some other possible visits. Let's get to a prediction here. Will Ohio State land the offensive line transfer? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in for me. Where else but the comment section. Some other possible visits, these not set as of filming, but ones to monitor. Michigan, South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee. The reason why there's so much interest in Josh Thompson is he was really good this past year. 646 snaps at Northwestern, 0 sacks allowed, 2 hits, 6 hurries, a really strong PFF run blocking rate of 75.5. He is actually draft eligible, so he could pursue that path if he wanted to. I believe he's draft eligible. Former low recruited 3-star guy, massive breakout season. This is the benefits of the transfer portal. Kind of saw with Josh Simmons to an extent too this past year, who has a big breakout year before he got hurt for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Hoping Thompson, who would probably be a guard, he was a guard for Northwestern, right guard, upgrade that spot and then off to the NFL. If you can find good offense linemen in the portal, it's going to be a lot of interest in those guys because it's kind of tough to do given the lack of general talent that ends up emerging from the portal along the offensive line. Now, if you want even more Ohio State football coverage, come to the right spot. Hit that sub button. YouTube.com/GoBucks will be live for the CFP first round and hopefully other games as well. And more coverage to come here on the channel. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. Let's go to Mike Vrabel. 24/7 Sports reporting that Vrabel could actually be interested in the Ohio State job in the event it ends up coming open and they move on from Ryan Day. Definitely listening was the term used by 24/7 Sports about Vrabel there. I do want to emphasize this. Good, it's positive, whatever. It's a lot of barriers that you need to cross before you can realistically pursue Ryan Day. The biggest of which is you have a head coach. So I would not be surprised, and it's not unique to Ohio State, but especially at college football, if there's stuff going on behind the scenes, if stuff's getting worked on and tinkered with, and various big money people are trying to gauge interest, whatever. Ryan Day is still your head coach. He has a massive college football playoff game at home coming up against Tennessee. What happens if he wins that game? What happens if OSU goes on a bit of a run? What if they lose that game? So his job status, they're supporting him right now as they should. I know we're mad at him. That's very valid too. He gets the CFP. Let's see what happens there. So what is the percent chance that Mike Vrabel ends up at Ohio State as the next head coach? Get those percentages in for me in the comments section of today's show. There's also this worth mentioning. Mike Vrabel, who is an NFL coach, tried and true, will have plenty of NFL interest. The Bears' job has already come open. The Saints' job is open. The Jets' job has already come open. You would assume a job like the Cowboys, who have a good relationship with Stephen Jones and Vrabel from their time on the NFL's competition committee. That job's going to be open. There could be other jobs. There should be other jobs that end up emerging for Vrabel. And outside of Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, Vrabel's going to be one of the more coveted options given his success in Tennessee. Now, as of filming, Bill Belichick has not taken the UNC job. That one's kind of been a surprise rumor that's out there, at least a clear-cut candidate. If Belichick takes a college job, that's one less quality option for NFL teams to pick. I also do wonder this. I think he wants to coach. I think he would rather coach in the NFL. It's his alma mater. It's different. I get all of that. I would suspect that Vrabel would prefer to go back to the NFL, where he's had great success. Now, the last 2 years, Tennessee were bad. They're even worse this year. They've been a really, really bad team this year. Turns out Mayo boy Will Levis maybe shouldn't be the guy. Anyway, I digress. He's had a couple playoff runs for Tennessee with not the best quarterback play. The CEO, leader of men type is very clearly at his best. So Vrabel, I think, would be the dream for Ohio State. It'll be the number one on our board if we do a hot board if they lose against Tennessee. But you have to let all that play out for the time being.